I was thinking this the other day to myself. I think right now Mahomes is the most intimidating figure in sports.
Mahomes has become the Gretzky,
Yeah.
Pele, Muhammad Ali. Who else is like that intimidating figure? Babe Ruth,
Ali, Tiger Woods,
Tiger Woods, Hank
Serena,
Aaron, Barry
Serena
Bonds.
Williams.
When you face Serena, when you face him, Michael
Yeah,
Phelps.
yeah. And I think that you can really and truly make the argument for him being the best to ever do it because it's got some teeth.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Not Just Another Sports Show, also known as AKA No Jazz, as it's so affectionately known. Because when you come here, it's no jazz, no frills, everything straight up to the point. And getting to the point, I am your host, KD. And of course, to my left or right, whichever way it wants to record tonight, we have Tank. Tell the people what's up, Tank.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all feeling? Y'all looking forward to next week?
That's right. That's right. Looking forward to next week. Jumping straight into it. Well, not jumping straight into it because we do have to do this. Thank you all for joining us. And make sure you join us on YouTube. Make sure you join us on Instagram. Make sure you join us on Facebook page. Make sure you join us on X. Make sure you join us on TikTok. At No Jazz Show. Instagram, noj.a.s.s. Now, getting right into it. Because it's just so exciting, you can forget a whole lot of business things that you need to do. But jumping right into it, we now have our final entries for the Super Bowl in New Orleans. And it will be Gilly versus Taylor Swift. No, it will be the representing the NFC. It will be the Philadelphia Eagles versus for the AFC, the two-time defending champions going for a three-peat, Kansas City Chiefs. I didn't
KC
pick.
in the house.
Wait a minute. I didn't really pick, man. We're going to pick the winners later on. Then maybe another episode. I was choosing based on history to get my team back in there. But we'll get to that. But it looks like the NFL will have its first. I think this is the first opportunity to even go for a three-peat, right?
No. Well, as far as three in a row, yeah. As far as actually making it three in a row
Making it
and
three times. You know what?
being two. We've had people who've gone three times, but they
Right.
like the
And
Dolphins
haven't
in the
won.
70s went.
Right.
Dolphins in the 70s went 3 years in a row, but they lost the first one. So yeah, this is the
right. And then and I believe you have Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills of the 90s.
they were over, so they never really had a shot.
Right. I think
But
they still hold the record for most of those consecutive appearances.
Yeah.
Right.
And we got a couple of teams, of course, that were going for three-peats, but they fell short and didn't make it to the Super Bowl. So this is the first. So KC is the first one to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The first one to reach that upper echelon of back-to-back to now back conference championship wins. You know, I do believe we have some back-to-back conference games. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So at any rate, having said that, we will now be fortunate enough to witness, and I want to jump right into this. I do, because this is how I want to put it, and it's going to be a conversation we're going to have again. But Andy Reid, Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to put a parentheses by Tyreek Hill because he's missing out on his opportunity. But here's my question. With a win, do they solidify themselves as the greatest at each position? Well, head coaches, right?
Wasn't expecting that one. Threw me a curveball.
Yeah, study for that one. We're getting to the show. We're getting to the show.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think Andy Reid still falls short because he doesn't have it, because he won't have surpassed Belichick as far as yet, and he won't have surpassed Belichick as far as Super Bowl wins either. But it's a valid argument. If you're just going by number of wins and Super Bowl rings, you still got to give it to Belichick. But Reid is very impressive, and he's had a second half resurgence. It's like he kept coming up short in Philly. He finally got to the Super Bowl and they lost it. And then they ran him out of town a couple of years later. But it's like he had a rebirth, and it's directly tied to Mahomes. I mean, and Kelsey.
And my theory.
Yeah. And Kelsey, can't put Kelsey as the best yet. When I see him, and then when I look at other tight ends that I've seen, I don't think he's as good as them. He's been now being the best and being most productive aren't simultaneous, because there are people who will talk about Emmett. He's not the best. He was just the most productive, and that's the argument that some people want to have. But I don't think there are tight ends that I've seen that I think are better than Kelsey. But Kelsey he has made his way into the top 5, top 6. Now Mahomes, I was thinking this the other day to myself. I think right now Mahomes is the most intimidating figure in sports.
Mahomes has become the Gretzky,
Yeah.
Pele, Muhammad Ali. Who else is like that intimidating figure? Babe Ruth,
Tiger Woods,
Hank
Serena,
Aaron, Barry
Serena
Bonds.
Williams.
When you face Serena, when you face him, Michael
Yeah,
Phelps.
and I think that you can really and truly make the argument for him being the best to ever do it, because it's got some teeth. I mean, 7 straight conference championship games. The only time he hasn't gone to the conference championship was as a rookie, because he doesn't know anything but playing either in the last game of the season, which is the Super Bowl, or one game short. That's all he knows. He doesn't know not making it past the first round of the playoffs.
And I love that for him, but this is an American sport, and unless he pulls a Mario Lemieux, but he kind of got sick. I'm trying to think the equivalent of like really leaving while you're on top. Because and I say that
Rocky
because
Marciano.
And I say that because he will diminish, the roster will diminish, and he will have some valley years. Even if he wins or loses, I think I stated this before, he has about 7 to 10 years of nothing that he can sit on, and the people are going to turn against him.
Yeah, man.
Like Brady sat for a little while. I mean,
10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to make the Cowboys the greatest football team ever. But we do have the Cowboys, the Packers, everybody has had a drought. Pittsburgh had a drought. San Francisco had a drought. And people will turn against you. So Serena had a drought. Tiger had a drought. It's one of those things where people turn against you in this "what have you done for me lately" world, and you gave them so much early. But to get back to the point and answer, I think by virtue of the manner in which they did it, you're going to get an argument of the greatest. I think they're going to lose those arguments, and here's why. It's the same contextual argument of Bills versus Bill Russell's reign versus Magic's reign versus Jordan's reign. Contextually, do you look at the 13? Do you look at the 6 straight per se, or 6 and not 6 straight, but 6 and 0? Contextually, one thing that plays a part in this is who they played for. I don't think Kansas City is enough of a glorified franchise to put him over an argument of Tom Brady. And here's why. Because Tom Brady is still fighting against Joe Montana and Terry because of the level of franchise that they sit upon. It's just what it is. Yeah. You're gonna look at Joe Montana's 4-0 because it's a San Fran. Well, that sits right up there with Tom's 7. I don't care what anybody says because it's San Fran. But I guarantee you, if Tom would have been on a Pittsburgh, a New York franchise, a Cowboy, and did the same thing he did, he would have been in another stratosphere because of the brand.
Yeah.
You know?
I think Mahomes, and when you take that approach, I think Mahomes is in the same boat as Brady because the Chiefs were a brand in the 60s. They were one of the top teams in the AFL, and they did make it to the first Super Bowl. They came back 73, 71, and won the Super Bowl for Lynn Dawson. Then they had an eternity drought other than the Schottenheimer years, but they never got, they were just a good team, but they never got over the hump. But since Reid and Mahomes have gotten together, they've elevated that team and their brand. So now since they've been together, we started hearing Chiefs Kingdom. Before, you never heard Chiefs Kingdom because who was a Chiefs fan unless they stayed in that state?
You didn't get with a Hank Stram?
Yeah.
You didn't get Chiefs Kingdom. You didn't get Chiefs Kingdom there, and they have a plethora of famous names. I'm gonna give one to you. Let me take that same context and go with Travis Kelsey. Who's the greatest tight end all time?
My money's got it right now. I got to go with Gronk. I got to go with Gronk and Kellen Winslow.
Gronk and Kellen Winslow. Why isn't Tony Gonzalez up there?
For me, the reason he's not up there, he didn't block. He wasn't really a route runner. He was a flexed out wide receiver for me. His game just didn't do it for me where I was like, because he wasn't really a technician. Was he a good player? Yes, but the finer details of it just didn't jump out for me. If I told somebody I wanted a tight end, I wouldn't tell the kid study. I wouldn't say study him. No playoffs.
Give him Kelsey's playoffs and Super Bowls. I guarantee you don't say that. I guarantee you don't dissect, and it's a valid point, but you don't dissect his lack of blocking. I'm pretty sure he did, but I know Kellen Winslow was no Ozzie Newsome at blocking either.
But Kellen, for me, Kellen elevated and was the precursor to real receiving tight ends. And of course, the game has changed and all of that.
But you're not giving that to Gonzalez.
No, I don't think. Just like I'm not one of those people who looked at Antonio Gates and said, "Oh my goodness, he was just great. He was productive," but he didn't. He was a bigger Gonzalez to me. I mean, he weighed more, but he wasn't doing all of that. He wasn't doing all the fundamental things.
I don't want a subject jump here, and this is a topic for later. I want you to put a pin in it because there's this who wore the number first or who did whatever first. So, like, it's an instance of, did Antonio Gates pass Kellen Winslow in the upper echelon as the number one tight end to play for the Chargers? And I don't want you to answer. But I want you to look at with the championships and the manner in which he did it. Has Travis Kelsey passed Gonzalez? I don't want you to answer. I just want you to look at it as what keeps Michael Irvin number one over T.O.'s reign at Dallas. What was John Stallworth really better than and AB?
Oh, AB.
You know, so there are these dynamics, even internally within a team that I mean, prior to Patrick Mahomes, you probably got to go all the way back to Lynn Dawson to think of. I mean, don't get me wrong, we know Dave Craig was there and Joe Montana had a stint, but their name, Joe Montana, is even DeBerg in the he's still forever a 49er, regardless of what happened. You probably got to go back to Lynn Dawson. And we know no one's thinking about Lynn Dawson. I mean, over Patrick Mahomes. So the manner in which you did it is technically something to think about. So I want to put that up for later. And I want to move on to the next subject, but it will be something that they're going to ask with that W.
Yeah.
Andy Reid. And I'm not even talking about within the franchise, because we know how they're going to answer in the franchise. In the league, ever.
Ooh, those three Chiefs, the only trio of tight end, quarterback, and coach that you can throw out there is Belichick, Brady, and Gronk. That trio of those particular positions and the coach. That's it. There's no other combination of those three that you can put up there. Tight end, coach,
you mean
and
tight
quarterback.
End?
Yeah, tight end,
Okay,
coach, and quarterback.
Okay, using tight
yeah.
end.
Yeah, tight end, coach, and quarterback.
I got you. Okay. You're specific about tight end.
Yeah.
All right. We will. What was that?
That trio: tight end, coach, and quarterback.
Woo.
Those two are those are the only trios of that makeup that you can pull out in history. That accomplished, and all of them have a right.
You mean that accomplished?
That accomplished and have a right and can lay claim to being the best to ever do it at their position.
You know who's gonna make currently, because I'm about to slide. I'm about to slide one in here on you. I'm gonna slide one in here on you, right?
Okay.
And I want you to watch how I do it. Belichick and Brady don't have a back-to-back.
Yes, they do.
They got a back-to-back championship?
Yeah. They don't
have a three-peat.
No, they don't have a three-peat, but they've repeated. They won the first Super Bowl, it didn't go back, and then 2 years later they won two more. So back in the early 2000s. In 2000 when the run started.
In the early 2000s. Okay. So no one has the three-peat, but three people have the back-to-back. They just kind of go on with the runs where Andy Reid goes on with the runs. But the argument in your tight end argument is Shanahan, Elway, and Sharp with a back-to-back. So
they only got two though.
The point is, if I want to be contextual and KC loses, we got a back-to-back though. But
they got three.
Now.
But they've already won three. Chiefs have already won three.
Tight end drops a little bit. Tight end drops tremendously for this argument because they got a back-to-back as well. But they don't have the three with the coach. But the tight end argument of it drops tremendously. I mean the names, but the tight end argument of it drops tremendously with Johnson, Aikman, and Novacek. But they are in that area with Shanahan. Sharp just kind of really takes Novacek way over. I feel like there's another one. But at any rate, we'll see what happens. Win or lose, we're gonna get back to that. Now, in other little miniature regular news, we have
Regular news.
yeah, we got to open with that. So we have the former current offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, Kellen Moore, is up for the head coaching job of where he will be visiting to coach in the Super Bowl in a week. And what are your thoughts on him being the next possible head coach? And I want to get this from a perspective of head coach in New Orleans. You're still trying to find your next Sean Payton. Sean Payton is seeing some success now. So it does look like you lost something, and you're in the NFC South. What do you think about that possibility of him being the coach?
Kellen Moore is interesting because one thing that jumped out at me still was, I think he was still there. Yeah, he was there a couple of years ago in Dallas, and the last play in the playoff game, Zeke was lined up at center. Remember that?
Absolutely.
And he was the offensive coordinator.
I mean, I have so many more
It's
examples other than that one, but
yeah, and I'm not sure if, of course, when you're the coordinator and your unit is doing well, you get credit. But I'm not so sure that anybody couldn't have run the Philadelphia's offense this year, with the addition of Saquon, because they weren't. It's not as if they were overly creative or anything. They were playing basic ball, and that hats off to them. The talent they had on offense, that's all they needed to do. But we
and
also
defense.
remember, yeah, and he was also in San Diego. What did we really get from him being in San Diego?
So basically, he literally is about to benefit from, like a lot of coaches do.
Yeah,
A lot of coordinators, I should say. He's about to benefit from the Eagles, current status, and he's going to get in New Orleans, and you feel like he's about to be fired within the next 2 or 3 years if he gets the job.
because I don't see Derek Carr as somebody who's gonna get New Orleans anywhere. And I don't believe New Orleans is drafting a quarterback. Alvin Kamara is not gonna take their running game to a level anywhere close to what he got in Philly. The receivers are nothing to write home about there. I don't, and New Orleans would have to give him some real time in order to bring in a whole bunch of players, basically retool that offense. I just don't. He hasn't shown me that he can be the reason why an offense is really clicking. He's been the recipient of being somewhere where they had a lot of talent. Even when he was in San Diego, L.A., the offense was all right, but there's nothing. When you think of Kellen Moore, you don't think of a very creative offensive coordinator. You don't think of they're gonna be very explosive. You don't there's nothing. What's his signature? What is he known for? What
Right.
is he known for as a coordinator? Like, just like if I say Ernie Zampese, you're gonna say, all right, there's gonna be a running game. There's gonna be excellent timing routes. You know what he's gonna bring. If you bring in anybody from the Bill Walsh tree, you know what the offense is gonna be, and you know what kind of play calls to expect. Kellen Moore, you have no idea what he's gonna do, and that can be good, that can be bad. If it works, it's good. If it
Loves
doesn't, it
tight
doesn't.
ends.
Yeah, and even in Philly, Goddard, he wasn't used as much as you would have thought that he would have been used. I don't really see. He's not a splash hire. He's just one of those guys. Oh, okay, well, he did all right in his past couple of jobs, but he's had 3 jobs as offensive coordinator in the past 5 years.
Here's what his situation is going to be. Unless Howie Roseman is going with him to New Orleans, It's got to be because his job is easier because Howie Roseman had already done his job, and that's just what it is. Howie Roseman goes out and he's very active in free agency. He's so active in free agency, it looks like his draft picks work. Philadelphia believes in his draft picks because they all, when you really think about it, no one comes out the gate like lightning, and they develop. So he's benefiting from Howie Roseman doing his job.
Yeah, I was thinking about Roseman the other day, and then what he done in Philly. He's the best GM in the game right now. I mean, you look
No,
Philly. I
no,
think he is as far as acquiring talent and the way he turns the roster over.
no,
They turn their roster over pretty regularly, and they always competing. If they have a down year or step back, they're not afraid to get rid of people. I mean,
no.
I think that he is as far as
Brett Veach,
acquiring talent.
Brett Veach is the best GM in football. That's Kansas City's GM,
I,
and
yeah,
they suffer from everything you just said. But look at what they do. They got the wins to go with it.
yeah. But they also
It's
have two
Brett
of the
Veach.
best. They also have three of the best to ever do it
No,
as well.
when that comes, see, you can't because if Philly was winning, you would say they have three of the best to ever do it. Because if Sirianni wins the Super Bowl or if Sirianni goes on that run with how Roseman does, then you say, well, is it really what Roseman is doing? Because look at they got the best to ever do it. Like you can do whatever you want to do, but people tend to but look at Emmett's line and forget about Emmett.
I hate
You
that
can't be
argument.
making those types of arguments.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding. Everything you said, Brett Veach does better. Everything you said.
I don't know.
The data
I
says
just admire the way he's done what he's done as far as turning it over. They aren't afraid to he's not afraid to tweak it. But if you want to go with Veach, I can't knock it because, like you said, it's all about rings. He's
who did
getting the
Howie
rings.
Roseman who has Howie Roseman lost on the level of Tariq Hill and still made it back to 2 Super Bowls?
Nobody
There you
of
go.
that level.
There you
I
go.
mean, it's just yeah. I think that
Howie
I
Roseman
give
has
both of them as being as
hold
the
on.
top two GMs
Is Tariq Hill top 5 wide receiver in football?
overall. I would say yes. This past year, no, but
Is he
overall, yeah.
Overall, is he top 3 overall?
That's debatable. You can put him. I definitely put him top 5.
Okay, has Howie Roseman lost anyone of that caliber and made it back twice to a Super Bowl?
Not of that caliber, no.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
But you can't complain about it. But 15 does make that job easier, and that's not its. You can't. But I'm not holding that against him either.
Brett Veach makes 15's job easier too, just like Andy Reid and that's like 15 and Brett Veach make Andy Reid's job easy. You know, you make sure this man drafted well at that time 2 cornerbacks, and that's not saying Howie Roseman doesn't have 2 young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I have not acquired top 5 running back that's a 2,000-yard rusher and had it in my capabilities, and I still made it back to the Super Bowl. I did not at that time acquire a top 5 wide receiver and make it to the Super Bowl, having a Heisman Trophy wide receiver on my roster already.
We'll see what next week holds, but it's gonna be
It's still
interesting.
Brett Veach,
But
even
yeah,
if you lose. They
yeah,
just played a better game that day. It's Brett.
yeah.
Come on now. Philadelphia is ringing in y'all ear, and Howie ringing in y'all ear as being the best dude. Want to know why? Because he's in the NFC East, and Philadelphia is always going to have some fumes off of Dallas Cowboy news. Now, Speaking of Dallas Cowboy news, Mike McCarthy is not going to seek a job this season, and he's going to sit this year out, relax, and maybe get back to coaching in 2026. What do you feel about that?
I think it's just like when he left when he was relieved of his duties in Green Bay. He took a year, 2 years off to recharge his batteries and look. And also, the coaching vacancies, the only ones that are left are probably not places that he would want to go and coach. Where they are now, because he knows next year, just like the NFL always does, there's going to be probably 4 vacancies next year, and it might be a job that's more suited to his like because I think he's still highly regarded, and I do believe that somebody's gonna tab him as being their head coach next year if he chooses to coach. But I don't think there's anything wrong with sitting back, recharging your batteries, looking at what's going on around the league, seeing what teams are going to probably be available next year, and then throwing your hat in the ring. So I think most coaches, when they've been doing it as long as he has, it doesn't hurt after you lose your job to sit back for a year.
Go ahead.
Which is because yes, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, because a lot of times you don't want to just jump right back into it anyway, because coaching takes a lot out of you mentally, physically, and emotionally. And he's been doing it, how long was he in Dallas? 3, 4, 5 years. And working under Jerry was probably a whole nother animal. So now he's going to have time to recharge, sit back. Okay, I might want to go here. I might want to go there. Or he might be ready to get on and do something else and not coach anymore at all.
And that's what he better be ready to do, because what is Jimmy Johnson doing now?
Yeah, I think Jimmy was always a short term anyway. I don't think he was going to ever be a life.
What did Barry Switzer do?
Look, you and I and everybody else knows that Barry wasn't cut out for the NFL.
What is Chan really doing now?
Chan wasn't cut out to be a coach.
All right, what is Jason Garrett doing now?
Look, I don't want to even talk about Mr. 500.
What is Wade Phillips doing now?
Wade's 70 years old. Wade don't need to be coaching.
What is Bill? Well, he wasn't 70 years old when he left. What is Bill Parcells doing? What is Bill Parcells doing now? What did he do when he left Dallas?
He was old too. I mean, when you've coached that long.
Hold on. Jason Garrett ain't old, and Jason Garrett.
He just wasn't good.
Jason Garrett did become a coordinator for the Giants, offensive coordinator for the Giants when he left. Head coach. We need to really do some. The data is out there. So us saying Mike McCarthy is going to take off a year and come back to coaching, the data doesn't state that he's going to ever come back to coaching, because leaving Dallas, it's over. It's a graveyard. You know what I mean? Like everyone I named in the past 30 years, whether successful or not, once you left Dallas, for whatever reason you want to give, you can say they're old, but Pete Carroll just got a job, and he's that age as well. So you leave. When you leave Dallas, you're pretty much putting a fork in it, and you're done. Like no one has left Dallas and went on to get a job.
Yeah, but McCarthy's only in his 50s too, so he'll still be a candidate that people will be interested. Jason Garrett wasn't a good coach. He wasn't a good coach. Nobody was going to give him a.
It's never availability. It's never availability. It's always some level of availability. Hold on, let me.
Yeah. McCarthy still, I think he will still have an opportunity. It'll be up to him if he wants to pursue.
Chan is with Buffalo. He's only 73. So when he was with Dallas, he had to be 60.
That was longer than that, I believe.
So there you go.
Chan Gailey wasn't a good head coach anyway.
There you go. I'm just saying.
But Chan wasn't a good head coach anyway. Garrett, what's his name? McCarthy. Even though it was a long time ago, he still has a Super Bowl ring on his resume, which generally will always have somebody saying, "Hey, I think I can get this out of." If I think he's
well, you know what? My bad. That's not true. That's not true because Miami did try to get it out of Jimmy. Miami did try to get it out of Jimmy a few years after that. So he is an exception to that rule. So hopefully Mike McCarthy's one Super Bowl ring will allow him to not fall into
Yeah,
the what do they call the junkyard of
the
coaching
graveyard. Yeah,
that
I think,
Jerry leaves
but
behind.
I think the thing about McCarthy is he has a Super Bowl ring. He's still just in his fees, and I think he's still highly regarded. I think he's highly regarded amongst other owners. So I think that would lead to them saying, "Hey, would you like to coach here?" I'm not saying he's going to take it, but I think he has more of an opportunity than all those guys that you mentioned, with the exception of Jimmy.
Well, he better hope this young regime of coaches, 50 years old, pushing 50, who seems to be, or even the younger ones, your D'Amicos and the don't come along and become those Raheem. Don't become one of those, and maybe Kellen going to get a job. Don't become one of those in tune with the players type coaches where the trend goes against Mike coming back. He
Yeah,
better hope for that.
yeah, I'm glad to see like some young blood coming in. I'm glad to see it, and hopefully it continues. After a while, you get tired of seeing retreads.
Absolutely. Now, before we go too far out of this, I want to congratulate Patrick Surtain II, getting the honor of the Defensive Player of the Year. That cornerback, well-deserved honor. But I do have to ask myself this. It might be a good idea if you're a cornerback and you want to get acclaim, go and play for Denver or even the AFC West. And people may actually believe you're out there doing something more than what you're actually doing. Because, and this is nothing against them, because I do believe Champ Bailey was, one of the greatest. But when you don't play a lot of big games on TV and people don't get to really watch you compete, you're getting sort of legendary status, and I don't remember Champ Bailey. I I don't remember Patrick Surtain II, and hopefully they'll have some success coming in. Playing on big games on TV where we can really see them match up in those high level 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock Monday night football marquee games. And I know if the wide receiver doesn't do anything, that means the cornerback is doing his job, and that's why that game quiet. But we don't see a lot of them. So what do you think about non-high profile teams that have these superior caliber defensive player of the year types, on this?
I think it's good, first of all, that a DB got Defensive Player of the Year. Whether they deserve it or not, that's another argument. But because the way the game is gotten, all you have to do is be a pass rusher who gets 16 to 17 sacks, and you either win it or you are in the top running for it. And cornerbacks aren't picking off passes as often as they used to. You don't see a whole bunch of guys with 7 and 8 picks these days.
And they actually matter.
Yeah. So the fact that he won Defensive Player of the Year is surprising to me, because generally it's going to go to a pass rusher, or it's going to go to generally it's going to somebody who's along the front line, or it might be a safety who's picking off a lot of passes. But it's good for the game because it shows, because just like if the MVP is not a quarterback, we can say, okay, finally they gave it to somebody who wasn't a quarterback, because it turned into a quarterback's award.
Right.
But Player of the Year, you generally expect, and they did make the playoffs, so you got to give them some of that. But generally, you want to see them playing in big games. And Denver didn't play in big games this year. They played in games that, because they started winning, they mattered, but they weren't big games, if that makes sense. They weren't must-see TV. They weren't The NFL wasn't saying, all right, we're going to scratch this game and we're going to make Denver a national game.
I want to have at least 2 games a year with my offensive or defensive player of the year or league MVP where you matched up against somebody you might be in competition with or on air with, or that best offensive lineman or that best quarterback, for defensive ends and defensive linemen, you kind of go against the quarterback as well and cornerback. So I kind of want to see you do that. And when I don't get to see that, it almost makes me believe that if the Jets would have had a better year and with what they were on with their TV and their market, Sauce Gardner gets the hype. And I'm not saying he's better than Patrick Surtain. I'm not saying he didn't do anything, but I'm just saying the hype. So now, since we mentioned quarterback, there's and you know more about this than me, but what's going on with Josh Allen? Like why are people treating him like he's old, the window's closed, and it's just unfair with the loss?
Because people want to see somebody knock the Chiefs off, and they thought
We're on the
that
hate
this year,
now, right?
yeah, they want to see that Josh has played them now. Played. I don't want to say Josh has because it's a team thing. It's a team game. It's not. You can't just say Josh has to win this game. But he's the big name player on the team and the big name player on that offense. And with what he didn't have to work with offensively this year, I think he should get more credit and respect for what he did this year than in the past because he lost his receivers from last year. His receivers this year, pedestrian. Cook, he was productive, particularly getting into the end zone. But there's no Pro Bowl, fourth string Pro Bowl alternate wide receivers for Buffalo. So I think Josh deserves more credit than what he getting. I don't think he should be looked at as, man, you can't get the job done because he did not. Granted, that last pass he threw, it should have been caught. If that pass had been caught, there's a possibility that they might have been able to win that game or force it into overtime. I just think that everybody wants to see somebody knock Mahomes off, and Josh was the last guy who was going to be able to do it. And people like to say, "Oh, well, maybe he's overrated because he hadn't won the MVP. He hasn't beaten the Chiefs in the postseason. He hasn't gotten to a Super Bowl. It's a whole bunch of what he hasn't done." And he just one of those guys he's caught in an era and in a conference where he happens to be playing against the best quarterback to come into the league in the past 10 years. I mean, nobody else is beating Mahomes either for the most part. So it's not like, well, you're the one who can't do it. Well, who else is doing it? It's not like Lamar is doing it. It's not like Herbert is doing it. It's
Burrow
not,
did it, but it's not like he
yeah.
doing it
But,
consistently. Brady
right,
did it, but he gone.
right. So
Brady did it twice too.
yeah, so it's not like, I mean, the thing is, he's in the same position right now as
Everybody.
yeah. He's if we take it back to teams of the 70s, the Raiders, the Dolphins, who else? The Cowboys, all of they just were all good and great teams. They just happened to be in the same same time in history as the Steelers. You
Wait a
know,
minute. Wait a minute. Don't go there.
no,
Cause I know
you
the
got teams.
Oilers in there.
Yeah, but yeah, Houston. But I'm
Cleveland
talking
Browns.
about teams.
Cleveland Browns in there.
Yeah, so you
Yeah, that's a
got
lot of
teams that
teams.
were,
Yeah.
but the teams I was talking about are teams that actually you could call great because they actually did go on and win a Super Bowl or whatnot, but they didn't win.
In
They
the
weren't
80s, in the
dominant.
80s, in the 80s, see, hold on, let me tell you what's going on. You have to be careful because there's another one that was in there with that 78, 79, 80 to 82 still a run, 75 to 82. Air Coryell and Dan Fouts thought they could beat the Steelers. So
Yeah,
you
you
really have to be careful because you're becoming Dan Fouts and
You becoming Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers.
Ben got 2. Eli got 2. Phillip, you ain't get any. You
Peyton
ain't
Manning
get
was
any, so you
always
weren't that
almost
good.
becoming that dude.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady had Peyton Manning scared for a little while. Yeah. You
And it's
better be
also
careful.
like it's also like the heavyweight and the lighter weight fighting boxing divisions in the 80s. You had so many great fighters. If somebody didn't win a belt, you kind of look at them a little different. You got all these people who are among the best to ever do it,
Yeah.
fighting at one time.
I'm sitting here with Hearns, Hagler, Leonard, Duran, and my name is Aaron.
Mancini, yeah, you
Aaron,
got
what his name?
Mancini,
Yeah, you know.
Mancini. You got Aaron Pryor.
Aaron
You got
Pryor. Yeah.
yeah,
You even have both the uncle and you got the Mayweather uncle and the father.
yeah.
You got Fred, no Floyd. Like it's a
Yeah, it's like, well, my name's John Johnson, and I fought a couple of them. I didn't beat them, but I was a contender. I was a real contender. Yeah, but you didn't win one, man. Everybody in the dang division was a future Hall of Famer. What you expect? I mean,
that's how you see. I don't. They weren't a future Hall of Famer then
all those guys, but everybody knew they were going down as all time
because they
greats.
was winning.
Yeah, and right now Josh is flirting with that. And to be honest, even though he's got postseason, he's got the MVPs. Lamar is flirting with that.
The same way I can stop you from being a Hall of Famer is the same way you can stop me from being a Hall of Famer. Everybody, like, for instance, why does Bruce Smith's name always get mentioned underneath Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White?
I've never put Bruce in the.
You want to know why?
He didn't win. He didn't win one,
There
but
you go.
he didn't win one.
You got
But also,
an argument of a dude that went to 4. He was in a 3-4, went to 4
yeah,
Super Bowls straight.
yeah, all time sack leader. I mean, and for me, if he had won one,
Maybe
you might be more people might want to say put him over Reggie.
you start looking at them. You start looking at his numbers, and dang, like for instance, if Jim Kelly wins all 4 of those Super Bowls, you start looking at his numbers, and you put him right up there with Marino, but you definitely put him up there with Terry Bradshaw and Troy because his numbers are far greater and less pedestrian than those two. So
Yeah, it gets to the point where if you can be great, but you didn't win one, and we know it's a team sport, but at the same time, great players often are what take a team over the hump, and
yes,
didn't happen. And
you're on another level when we could still make you Hall of Fame talked about worthy because like you win all 4 of those Super Bowls. Thurman Thomas's name is mentioned before you get to Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk name get in there because Marshall Faulk won what they needed to win.
yeah, Thurman is one of the truly best to ever play the position, but unless you are either a Buffalo fan, a Thurman fan, or you're just fair,
Pure.
yeah, or pure, somebody has to say Thurman, and you have to, and people will say, yeah, he was good,
Absolutely.
but Thurman was a great back. Again, 04. People don't mention James Lofton, and James did it for a few teams.
James
James
got his
never
ship
won.
though. Didn't James get a ship with Washington?
No,
No, he didn't. Okay.
but if
Reid.
he went to
Bruce.
Reid also.
Reid, yeah. Come on, man.
You didn't get one, so your name isn't put up there unless you're a purist or a historian or whatnot. And then you say, well, because James Lofton retired as the all-time leading receiver in NFL history. But
That was Art Monk got one.
yeah, Monk got one. But
Okay.
you don't. It's just the championship matters. One of the best to ever play on the offensive line never missed a single snap from his first game as a rookie played 10, 11 years, never sniffed the playoff. Joe Thomas, people don't think of Joe Thomas as one of the best ever because he played for the Browns and they never won.
Diddly.
They never won anything. They never won a division. They never made the playoffs.
Listen, hey,
and that matters.
listen to what Tank is saying, Philadelphia. Listen, don't get me right. You all have your one championship, but you're going to fall back into that same place of all those great teams who were better than everybody if you lose Sunday. I'm telling you, because you are a forgotten name when you can unseat the champion. And you want to know how I know you are that stuff matters? Because we have one man who didn't do anything. I ain't gonna say anything, but he really doesn't have the numbers to get into the Hall of Fame. But he had his moment against the main man twice. And his name is Eli Manning. And he will be in the Hall of Fame, regardless of what you all don't want. That will be his context and the brand that he played for. It's just what it is. So, Philadelphia Eagles, I'm telling you, do you want to be remembered in history? You better go in there and close the deal against Colossus.
And you know how Philadelphia fans are. So, Philadelphia, do you want to be revered or do you want to be reviled? Because they've got to get it done next week.
Got to get it done next week.
You can play any other sport and come up short in this country, particularly team sport, and people will be like, yeah, okay, but they did this, they did that.
Yeah.
Only in football,
Yeah.
if you lose, or you looked at as the worst team in the league.
Yeah, because we respect the mess out of Allen Iverson for 2001. We knew he was up against the Lakers, but you know what? Detroit knew they was up against the Lakers too,
Mm-hmm.
and said, we do not want you all to only remember the bad boys. We want y'all to remember us too. And they went and handled the Lakers. So you gotta make sure it happens. Now, moving right along, Hank brought up some wonderful facts based upon, or some data, based upon something I mentioned as far as the theory is concerned about, and this is not about the Cowboys, but about why you win and how you win in the NFL, and what I stated that we needed from the Cowboys as far as what we don't have with Dak Prescott. And he brought in, to discuss this point further, my first theory on first round caliber quarterbacks with good coaches. And that's how you get over the hump to go to the Super Bowl. And he found that 19 in 100 years of football, how many years of the Super Bowl?
This is 56 and 9, 68. Was the first Super Bowl.
All right, so that's 33 at 2000.
It's 57, 58.
58.
This will be the 58th Super Bowl.
In 58 years of Super Bowls, 19 have answered the call that I say we need. And 9 have gone to at least 2.
Won at least 2.
Oh, my bad. 9 have won at least 2. Those are some pretty good numbers. Those are numbers that GM, when you go to the draft board and you say, I might not need a quarterback, but that guy's there and it's a possibility to trade up to get him. Y'all better get y'all mind out of that anomaly named Tom Brady. You better stop. That was an anomaly. You don't need no. Stop looking at Tom Brady. And I'm gonna tell you another one that y'all be looking at. What the wide receiver name was for Denver? Rod
Smith.
These guys come along. Stop looking at the Antonio. Stop looking at the ABs that didn't have the 5 stars coming out of high school and all that stuff. Don't use that data. When it comes to quarterbacks, you better get your guy.
Yeah, and also not just Super Bowl first round picks that have won Super Bowls. It's been 21 first round picks at quarterback who've lost Super Bowls. So, I mean, the point that KD is making is
They go.
You need a first round quarterback to have the best chance of at least getting to a Super Bowl, and especially of winning one.
So what? Hold on, before you go on, those 21 that have at least lost a Super Bowl, guess what? At the beginning of the year, no one actually requires you. It's like your team may say Super Bowl or bust, but the analysts are only going to require you by virtue of, we will be happy if you do this, make a conference championship, win a conference championship. They don't really put Super Bowl in the equation because they know it's just so difficult. But conference championship, making it 2-1, winning 2 playoff games, of course, that traveling in the playoffs, you can see numerically, Tank is telling you, if 21 have lost the Super Bowl, that means 21 won their conference championship.
And that 21, some of those are quarterbacks who won and lost.
Jerry?
I mean, you got Lynn Dawson, lost his first one, went back and won his second one. Bob Greasy lost his first one, won his second two. Patrick Mahomes, we all know he's won 3, he lost 1. John Elway lost 3, won 2. I mean, and something that stood out to me,
Kelly
and
went to 4.
Yeah.
Tom Brady 5 out of 7 or 5 out of 9.
Yeah, and he wasn't a first round pick.
That's right.
And the thing about it is, the last show when you brought this up,
the anomaly. I'm sorry.
This thing, I always remember this every time every time a team loses the Super Bowl and they don't have a very good or great quarterback, I always go back to years ago. I interviewed LaVon Kirkland, a former linebacker with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I asked him point blank, when y'all lost that Super Bowl, when Neil O'Donnell threw those 3 interceptions in the Super Bowl, what was going through your mind? And he said, that game, I'm just gonna harp on this point. He said that game is what convinced him that you need to have a great quarterback in order to win the Super Bowl. He needs to be a first round pick. He said you can't just, it's hard to go in with somebody who wasn't elite going against somebody else who, in their case, Troy Aikman, who was considered an elite quarterback. It's hard to go in. He's a number 1 pick. Our guy's a number 3 pick. There's a third round pick. And I always say this, and we've said this about Dak. Dak has gotten you more than what you expected he's a 4th round pick. There's a reason why he's a 4th round pick.
There's a reason why he's a 4th round pick, man.
There's a reason why O'Donnell was a 3rd round pick.
He's done what 4th round picks are going to do. It's what it is.
You need to have, and the quarterback position is the most important position, not just in football, but in team sports. Argue with your mama. If your quarterback position is the most important position in team sports.
You know what they're gonna try to do? I'm gonna sit Tom Brady name down, but you know the other name they're gonna bring up? Kurt Warner. But hold on. To all you Kurt Warner fights, when Kurt Warner went to the Super Bowl with the greatest show on earth, on turf, who was the running back?
Falk.
Man, that make up a lot. When he went to the Super Bowl with Arizona, who was the running back? Edgerrin James was given up for Falk. So you still, and to the dude in the back who don't know history, well, Jim McMahon wasn't all that, and the Bears had the best defense ever. Guess what, buddy? Jim McMahon is 1st round, 5th pick.
1st round pick. Yep.
1st round, 5th pick.
Phil Simms was a 1st round pick.
Stop playing. It's a pedigree.
I mean, there's a reason why guys are drafted in the first round. Sometimes they don't pan out. Sometimes you get to a Super Bowl with the guy and you don't know how. Trent
And
Dilfer,
you
people
don't know
always
how.
say Trent Dilfer is the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
When he won one,
He was a first round pick.
and he's the one. What? When he
I
won and
believe
won,
he was one. Yeah. And another quarterback, he didn't win it, but he took his team there. He had some help. Tony Eason, probably the worst quarterback to ever lead a team to a Super Bowl. First round pick, they lost to the Bears, but guess who? But on the other side, at the quarterback position was Jim McMahon, first round pick. I mean, first round picks at quarterback matter. And if you have the opportunity to grab one, even
you
if he
better
doesn't
grab one.
pan out, you grab it.
I'm gonna tell y'all, you can keep taking your chances with Doug Williams
Well,
and
Doug was a
Mark
first round pick.
Rippon.
Remember,
Doug
Doug
was
was a first round pick.
Doug.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Doug. Keep taking your chances with Mark Rippon and Brad Johnson and what my man with the Steelers, Nick Foles.
On Neil O'Donnell.
Neil, did he win? Well,
Nope.
he went. We'll give him win. We'll 95. He went. But guess what? Guess who we lost to?
Aikman.
A one of one. Y'all got to stop. Y'all got to stop with this mess, man. Jerry, stop playing. Stop playing.
And if you go after a quarterback in the first round, even if you don't think that he should have been, the fans might not think that he should have been, but the staff, the coaches, the scouts say, hey, grab him up in the first round, and it doesn't work out. It's horrible if it doesn't work out, but at the same time, at least you took a swing and a miss. Because that's what happened with the Steelers. They took a swing and a damn miss and not even a miss, not even coming close to a miss with Kenny Pickett. But they drafted him in the first round. They were trying to do something. They trying to make something shake. It didn't work because we all know first round draft pick quarterbacks, they have a bigger chance of missing than they do hitting. But when they hit, they hit.
When they hit, they hit. Stop acting like that's just a different pedigree. Switching sports, but we still talking about first round caliber pedigree. We got a first round caliber pedigree father who feels like he can just throw his son on the court and things are going to change. But his son is ending up going 1 for 16 from the field since he got called up and 0 for 7 from 3. This is not about, it can be, whatever Tank says, it can be about that with him. But for me, I think this is the NBA in a very desperate situation for ratings, thinking, and the Lakers, thinking we can just throw Bronny in here and we're going to get this gate going and people going to be watching. But at the same time, once you get over that hype, just like the hype was when you did the whole Senior Griffey Jr., it ends and the game begins. What do you think about Bron? They just bringing Bronny up too early?
If he's not ready, he's not ready. Doing well in the G League does not automatically transfer into mean that you're going to do well when they bring you up. It doesn't. It's just like baseball. Doing well in the minor leagues does not automatically mean you're going to do well when you get to the
Transfer
majors.
just like that, right?
Yeah. Take your time and let him develop and truly develop his game. If he plays in the G League the whole season, but he's getting better and you see baby steps that he's getting better, is working out. But
let's go 45, 4, 5, 6 games straight.
yeah,
in the
do
G
something
League.
where you really see that he's got it.
More down here, yeah.
Yeah. But to bring him up because we're gonna put him out there with his daddy again. That's gonna be cute. People gonna tune in to see that. Those Laker fans, particularly, are not gonna be tuning in to see this boy get out there and stink it up, and his daddy, and it looks just like he's only out there because of his daddy. You have to. I don't want to pay my money if I'm a Lakers fan. I don't want to pay my money hoping to see my team win, and we get out there and I see a dude who's out there for 15 minutes and he scored the same amount of points I do, and I'm in the stand. I don't care as a fan. I don't care about your ratings. I want to see a good product, and I want to win. I want to see us win. I don't want to see it's history again. Dad and son, father and son on the court again. Don't nobody care about that. It was cute the first time it happened, but after that, hey, we need wins. We need you to be productive. Send him back down to the G League and whoever position he's taking, put them in. Cause I'm sure they're better than what he is. And that's not saying that he can't play or he won't ever make it. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But don't force him, because you do know that when you force a person into doing something that they aren't ready for or they aren't equipped for, at least not at the moment, you can crush their confidence and crush any kind of potential they might have, because failing might make them say, hey, it gets into your psyche like, man, I'm not good enough. If you never can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. It's been 25 games and I ain't done it yet. Maybe I just don't have it. You can't, whatever they're doing, whatever their reasoning is, they need to re-examine it and just treat him like any other player who isn't quite ready yet.
The unfortunate side of that, he's not any other player. And another part of that is you're in the season now, and young players and veterans, but especially the ones who are kind of knowing that they're the future and they've learned the league and they belong in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure you're not using your power to manipulate them into not having a voice to say, hey man, but it just ain't it. And you know it, because they might not be able to voice that opinion verbally, but they're going to voice it physically. And they're not going to rally around Buddy to show him the work that they had to put in. And it's a possibility they may look at him and like, I want to show him the work, but he's actually not capable of actually pulling it off. Even if I show him, he's not that caliber. But at any rate, sticking to the part of this show, and we're going to call this Happy Father's Day segment. We went on Braun as a father, and coincidentally, we're about to speak of the man who told you. Remember, this is the Happy Father's Day segment, and I'm going to get to something. Okay. I'm speaking on Patrick Mahomes Sr. because Patrick Mahomes Sr. is a visibly black man. Visibly. He got some melatonin in there. You can see it. And we're not talking about who you choose to marry, but he chose a woman of a different hue and sort of, melted down into, he took away a little bit from Patrick Mahomes Jr. with the exception of the athletic ability. Those who don't know, Patrick Mahomes Sr., baseball player. Patrick married a woman that looked like his mama. And now people are going in saying Jalen Hurts is our black quarterback. Patrick Mahomes ain't really black. What do you think about people saying that about?
But for the part where people trying to do it and making a joke and hey, it's just jokes or whatever. Okay, I can take a joke just as well as anybody can. But for the people who act, but the sad part is you got some people who are taking that literally and they're serious about it.
Very.
They're both black quarterbacks. They're both black men. You can't. I don't think that it's right to try to downplay Mahomes and his blackness compared to Jalen Hurts. I mean, no, Hurts he's engaged to a black woman. Mahomes married a white woman. So be it. You love who you love, be who you want to be with. But to try to take away from who he is, I think it's wrong. It shouldn't be done. You shouldn't. There's nothing that he has come out and said, to the best of my knowledge, that denied who he was. And for anyone who says, well, he doesn't say he's black, he's never said that he wasn't.
Yeah, he never said he wasn't.
Yeah. My thing is this, how can I put it? He never did a Tiger Woods on culminating. And and also, Jalen Hurts, both his parents are black. Mahomes is mixed, is biracial.
I'm glad you brought out Tiger.
Yeah. But at the same time, if he would say, hey, I can just consider myself to be biracial, I wouldn't be mad at him, because in the grand scheme of things, Do you want your child to pick which side he is, or to downplay one parent's background for another? Do you basically?
Straight up. I'm gonna tell you straight up how I feel about it. One, I think we are. I think this whole conversation is first and foremost crazy, but I think it stems from just a lot of Kansas City hate. I think it's a lot of Kansas City hate, Taylor Swift, Caitlin Clark being in the stands. I'm tired of seeing Kansas City win because I'm tired of seeing a whole lot of the other things that go along with that. And a lot of people in this trying time, as far as our political climate is concerned, are gravitating towards this because they're upset, and it's a whitewash conversation. Now, having said all of that, kids are kids, and this man is a man now. But Patrick Mahomes Sr., I don't know if he has sisters, cousins on his side, but it is very obvious who he had his child influenced by, because you didn't choose if Patrick Mahomes Sr. has sisters, nieces, cousins. You didn't choose to have your child over there with those types of women to be influenced to see if your child may even like them. Or you did have them influenced and their child said, that ain't it for me. So
And also you
what I
had this
want.
also this plays into it, and a lot of people get mad, or they talk about the fact that you have black athletes who marry white women or marry other ethnicities, but these also guys, they go to P5s where we are really and truly a
In the
small
minority.
number. Okay, I got 200 people in my biology class. 75 women in there. There's 150 women in there, and it's 3 sisters, and everybody else is other.
And remember, ladies, for all of your comfort and round the house wear, lingerie, comfy clothes, make sure you visit quickvisits.com. That's QUICVISITS.com. For all of your lounge wear, lingerie wear, sport wear, workout wear, athletic wear, make sure you go to quickvisits.com. They'll be there for you, and you'll love that. I tell you.
One of the sisters I might not be interested in. Another one, she don't like me, and the other one, we don't like each other. So the other 150, it's about 5 or 10 of them who are interested in me. So I'm gonna like who likes me.
Like me. And imagine what the young men were going through when the Power Fives first started integrating into what used to be the HBCU guys. It was even more of a minority. These schools for whom were right up the block from an HBCU, okay, I can go to that party and go meet me more variety, but every school don't have that. So I think a lot of this traditional, when you get rich, when you get off fries, you go leaving for a white girl type of mentality, came about because like is like, love is love. Love is an affinity group. Dating is an affinity group. You got a dude who is the star. They're going to always get girls no matter what race. That's just what it is. And if you take the star out of that, this dude 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", basketball team, whatever, physically fit. Any woman is going to gravitate towards that for breeding purposes anyway. So he going to get what he going to get. So you can just kind of tell Buddy had his experiences on that side of the track, and Daddy didn't. They come on over here, boy. I mean, I got another look, because Daddy saw something and Daddy said, "Nah, this ain't it for me." So
because
it's what it is.
and
Daddy might not
plus
have been around it.
and because I think she's his college sweetheart, and Texas Tech, if I'm not mistaken, it's in Lubbock. So first you got Lubbock, then you got Texas, and you got Texas Tech in Lubbock.
He's not a Houston Cougar.
Yeah, there's no HBCU in Lubbock. He can't go down the street.
Yeah,
He's not at
he go to
FSU.
Paul Quinn in Dallas.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
he's not at FSU in Tallahassee
And you can still go over the fam.
going right
Exactly.
across the street to FAMU. So I mean that does play into it, and
Or at least drive down, or be at Auburn or Tuscaloosa and drive to Alabama A&M or Alabama State
Alabama
homecoming.
State, yeah.
Yeah, you come on now, like stop.
I mean, as far as Mahomes' sake, y'all just got to deal with it because the way it looks, it's gonna be like this for another decade. As far as him being the cream de la cream at quarterback,
You just say Kareem.
I mean,
It's definitely some cream.
yeah.
It's
So I
definitely
mean,
some cream in that coffee.
yeah, he's gonna be the top dog at the quarterback position for the foreseeable future, and you just gonna have to get tired of putting him up next to whomever is playing quarterback for whatever team in the Super Bowl. Because
Exactly.
it's gonna be him, then it's gonna be whoever else.
He that him. Now, speaking of he that him on this Happy Father's Day, you brought up Tiger Woods. You know, rest in peace. He's a father now. His daddy was Earl,
Earl.
and then we brought up. I think we have mentioned Serena. We mentioned Serena. Of course, Braun and Bronny. Of course, we mentioned the Griffeys. We talked about boxing, and we mentioned Mayweather, and so we're celebrating Father's Day right now. So I actually want to ask you, who's the greatest in the Ball brothers? The Ball brothers, Lonzo and Jello, Mello, and LeVar. Who's the greatest sports father? This talent thing skips a generation. You know, if your daddy was good, you might not be that good, or you might need to pick another sport. Or if your daddy was mid, there's a higher possibility you're going to be good. And this is the quote of the one and only LeVar Ball. And we're not talking about what he said years ago about that pressure to put on Bronny that Braun has now put on Bronny. But we are going to say Happy Father's Day to LeVar because, of course, everyone knows about the Leangelo or Jello Ball tweaker song. And come to find out, just like Ball Brothers, big baller brand shoes, all of the money was in house. Lonzo or LaMelo produced the song, Lonzo wrote the song, and Jello rapped the song. So shout out to them boys for all that money staying in house,
Keeping it in the family.
keeping it in the family. I have to give him his props. Now, before I get to the latter part of that, I want to speak of Patrick Mahomes Sr. And don't get me right. Your father is the greatest. That's not what we say. Calm down. Who's the greatest sports father out there right now?
Okay.
Or even ever?
I got it.
Manny, we did mention Manny and Eli.
I got a draw. I gotta have it as a draw. It's Richard Williams and Archie Manning. When you look at what as far as the Mannings, you look at what Eli did, not Eli. You look at what Peyton did, and then you look at what Eli did. You look at what both of them did in college and what they've done in the NFL. First overall picks. Both of them have Super Bowl wins. Both of them are going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. The odds are, just looking at those two, that Cooper Manning would have been a very good pro.
And
He played receiver. Yeah, he got Arch. I mean, so him, and then of course, history making Venus and Serena for what he did and how he went about doing it. He and Archie are neck and neck. Whoever you want to put first, I'm not gonna argue. But those are my top two. And Richard, for the way that he did it, for not even being for Archie at least was a Heisman Trophy candidate, runner up, and played double-digit years in the NFL. Richard never played tennis. Richard read about it.
Athletic, yeah. And knew his
Richard read
strength,
about it,
right.
and he watched videos and he was able to teach his kids how to become the best in the world. So you got to give him that, and the fact that he kept them out of trouble, he kept them level-headed. You can't complain about things that they've done as far as on the court, or things that they've done off the court where you be like, oh, I cannot believe that those women are doing those things. I mean, those two are my father's. My father. Then it also goes because not just because of those accomplishments, but they had two kids. They
They
had
both had
multiple
two
kids.
kids. Yeah,
Yeah, they
that
had
both
multiple
successful.
kids
Yeah,
as opposed to one.
right.
Now, I
And
throw this a
they both technically had a kid that they expected that kind of, because Cooper is the Venus of the Manning family. Like he got hurt, but what I'm saying is, like, Richard did say Serena would be better than Venus, but Venus was the one. So both of them did have that first child that kind of was still, doing that thing.
yeah. And another one that I put in here, they weren't athletes, but at the same time, the things that they were able to do on stage did require athleticism, because to be able to do what they did, sing and dance at the same time and sound good doing it, you got to
I know you. I know you ain't. You
you,
better say the verse.
you got to put Joe Jackson in there, even though it's
Oh,
not
okay,
sports,
okay, okay. Joe.
because what they did, what
Oh,
the
you better.
Jacksons did on stage was athletic. You can't do the things they did, particularly Michael, and not have some athleticism.
Okay,
And Joe
so
was a boxer.
here's what we gonna do. We gonna have us a hit refresh
That's a
segment.
wild card.
We gonna have us a hit refresh segment, R&B and pop style, to try not to go too far off. Because that's a good one. Best fathers in R&B or music, etc. We go hip hop in there too. Man, you hit it on the note, when, because I really did. I wanted to throw Coach Prime in there, but you're right. We gotta wait to see what Shadur and Shiloh actually do at the
Mm-hmm.
next level to compare to the names you gave, because I totally agree. Father's Day definitely belongs to. I love what Lonzo Ball did, speaking his kids. I love what Lonzo Ball did, speaking his kids into existence. Man, I needed my boy to do a little bit more. But shout out to Dale Curry. Shout out to Dale Curry. I gotta give you your props on what you did with your sons. You did have two sons that made it in the league. You actually, from a basketball perspective, you did what everyone thought the Rivers would do. And what's the brother name?
For
The Currys. You got Steph and you got Seth. Seth can shoot, but you ain't your brother. And I guess I need, in order to get up there with Venus and Serena and Eli and Peyton, I'm gonna need you to at least make it to a championship. So I can't put you over them, but I'm gonna give Dale. I'm gonna give Dale. I'm gonna give Dale his props. I'm gonna give Dale his props. I'm gonna say Happy Father's Day to Dale on this one.
okay, I got an honorable mention for you, and this is a whole lineage. Clay Matthews Sr., Clay Matthews Jr. What's the other Matthews who's playing in Atlanta?
Oh yeah. I forgot about
The
him.
offensive lineman.
Yeah, but that's Bruce's son, right?
Bruce. Yeah, Bruce.
Bruce is the uncle. The uncle was the best.
Yeah. And their father, Clay Matthews,
Senior.
not senior, Clay Matthews, yeah, senior, which is the grandfather of Clay Matthews, who played with the Browns,
With the Browns.
who
Right. Yeah,
is
The
Clay,
Matthew.
who the other the third Clay Matthews, who played with
Yeah.
Green Bay.
Right.
So
Right.
I got to give
Now,
them
now,
honorary
now,
mention
now. See, if the Watts would have had more
from the
prowess from
third
the
one.
daddy.
Yeah, because the third one, the fullback, he didn't do much.
Yeah,
Derek
he
White,
ain't do
he
much.
didn't.
But
Yeah.
see, the daddy didn't get on Dale's status for me to put
Mm-hmm.
TJ and JJ where
Yeah.
I wanted Steph and Seth to be, but Steph way beyond belief. But anyway, happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And we're gonna bring up that R&B segment now. Let me tell you one thing that a father does too. And it's funny because we sticking with the Father's Day segment because this guys, your father teaches you code and your father teaches you things about life that when it comes to these ladies, he gonna sit you down and do that. And the interesting point about this Father's Day is Cam Newton's father played for the Cowboys. He played in the league, and Cam Newton's father. And we're not talking about your father bad at all. If you just happen to watch this, but Cam Newton's father played a very integral part in what Cam Newton went through in the University of Florida, back to JUCO, back to Auburn, and all that stuff he went through. And very, very, from what Cam, speaks about his father, solidarity, strong, solid. Like this man don't play. So I know he taught Cam better than what I saw. And what I saw was Cam, you from Atlanta, Dwight Howard from Atlanta. I feel like you broke code, man. That man has been very open about what he do in his bed. We are in 2025. Don't matter. But you let that young lady get on your show and drop L on this man. Man, come on, Cam. No better than that. From a homeboy. Like, I'm not talking about homeboy.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that's your hometown boy. Like, that's a code in that, man. Don't break code. Come on, man. You don't let her get on there mouthing like that. Golly, that hurt me, man. Jaded women. What you think about that?
Yeah. Well, before I mention that, you talk about as far as the Father's Day and Cam, but Cam's got a younger brother who played at Howard and he played
Yeah.
quarterback at Howard, and his older brother had a cup of
Okay.
coffee in the NFL as well.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
them boys straight. Cam
yeah,
just was the one with the juice.
yeah, yeah. The only thing about that interview that you can say, okay, it's not on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being worse. You can say, okay, them doing that was only a 9.9 instead of a 10. It's because we already know about Dwight.
We already know. Right.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yeah.
break any news about
Yeah.
Dwight. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I just don't see where the relevance of talking about it was and why. I just like, dude, I wouldn't be talking if you didn't know any better. It would almost come across as like, yeah, tell me some dirt about old boy. I can let you know, hey, I ain't like that, so maybe me and you can, me and you could hook up one day or something like that. If I didn't know any better, I don't think that was the case at all. But if you didn't know, you could get that vibe because why would you bring it up? Why would you let that go on? Like, hey, I don't really feel like we need to be talking about, what happens in that man's bed. I think personally, and I'm speaking as if I was Cam, because personally, I really don't care what the brother's doing in his bed. Okay, so we can move on to something like that.
Yeah, man.
You can go get on Vlad TV and talk
Yeah, go
about
get
that.
on Vlad. We don't necessarily have to have a Cat Williams moment here. We
Yeah.
don't need to do all that. Now, shout out to Cam, shout out to Cam, because God rest, and we this is the anniversary of this week was the anniversary of rest in peace Kobe, his helicopter going down. But it's we have those moments where our pops, man, like I'm pretty sure Jelly Bean, when Kobe didn't mean to in his naivety,
Mhm.
he didn't mean to drop dime on Shaq, but he did. Cause you green. Shout out to Cam for opening up on TV about, I'm not in football anymore. I just realized that financially I'm not hurting, but I can't do the things that I can do because I got a family to take care of, and I got these years ahead of my life. So him opening it up about his finances was like extremely mature and something that we needed. And I wish that would have been
Yeah.
the news, because Cam deserved Happy Father's Day on that one. But I hope your daddy kind of just pull you to the side, like,
Yeah, don't do that no more.
don't do that, man. You got baby mamas, and you know how they are. You know how they are. You broke cold, man. Oh, man, that's my boy too. Golly. But I know how he is. He don't know me personally, but if Cam see this, he gonna be like, "You need me? You get on the phone and call me, bro. You're 6'5". Ain't nobody trying to. No, I am not
Yeah,
trying to
that.
cause no trouble with you, my brother. I ain't even trying to get on disclaimers. I'm just talking about we need a code out here, man.
Yeah.
Even for the dudes that's questionable, that don't care about what's going on in their bed. Just certain things, man.
Again, one more thing. I'm glad you mentioned that about Cam coming out and talking about finances.
Yeah.
People, for whatever reason, people don't listen and can't comprehend, can't understand, or whatever. The man did not, because I saw all this stuff on different groups on social media and comments, some people talking about he ain't making that money no more. Now he about broke and this, that. He did not say anything about being broke or having money trouble. He just basically just said, "Hey, I don't make the money that I used to. I need to keep making wise decisions and I don't need to spend money
What is Cam?
at the same way." Cam is he 34?
Not even 35. The man
Yeah.
talking about
This
living the
man got
next
another,
life.
yeah, this man got 50 or 60 years left.
Yeah.
And hey, I'm not gonna spend all this money crazy
Yes.
like it's no end, like I could have a few years ago when I was making that kind of money. He's just talking about financial wisdom.
Exactly. Financial wisdom.
So he's
In
not gonna be on.
an environment where he has a lot of mouths to feed and a lot of people that can take away from him right now. That's all
Right.
he's saying. He
Yeah, I
thinks
got eight.
financial
Yeah,
wisdom.
I got 8 kids, and they might not all. If they all want to go to college and they don't get scholarships, I gotta pay for that. I
Exactly.
gotta pay for these kids for the next, like the kids are forever. I gotta help take care of them until they can really take care of
Everybody
themselves.
might not get a scholarship. Everybody
Yeah,
might not be taking advantage of NIL. You know that man
yeah,
understand what's going on?
yeah. And y'all not gonna see me on ESPN broke part two. That's all he was saying. And people want to take it and run.
Bro, man.
Shoot, it's common sense.
Maybe that's why he wanted that. Maybe that's why he wanted that statement from Royce to go viral.
Yeah, think about it. If you making 250,000 a year and all of a sudden, and now you don't have that job anymore, so you only making 150 a year. You're not gonna live the same way you did when you making it 250. You can still live well, but you not. But you making $100,000 a year less, so you're not gonna keep living that $250,000 lifestyle.
And I know he's had his moments where he was just a young man. Even he made young man statements. That's why I say it's so
Yeah,
mature of him to say that, because he made a young man statement about bottle wars in the club. I want to show you
yeah.
your money ain't as long as mine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily worried about how I look at you or how you feel about me, but I've been in them bottle wars. I've been in the club seeing
Yeah.
people that competitive spirit turn on when that money. And he just saying, I'm not about to let that
Yeah.
guy make me spend 25,000, 30,000 in the club, because I can do that comfortably then, because I know Tuesday
It's payday.
is payday. So but like, man, hey, very mature statement to end.
Mm-hmm.
On the Cam information, as far as like I said, man, gotta have a code, man. Even for Shaq, even for the white man, Shaq, even for the white. Shout out to Shaq Father's Day. Shaq take care of everybody. Happy Father's Day, man. Happy Father's Day. We might need to do it. They might need to make that a tradition around here. Well, no, we might just leave that alone, because if we do this, we gonna probably have to talk about the mothers too. You know, like we ain't gonna leave out the McGee twins, JaVale. We know your mama was a bad girl. All that good stuff. I don't want nobody coming down on me. But at any rate, this has been not just another sports show. NOJASS. No jazz. Make sure you go hit that like button, make a comment, subscribe, share. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on X. Follow us on TikTok. And I don't know because I didn't ask, man, because I know we've spoken a lot. But Tank, did you have any last word?
No
Yeah,
last words,
we've been
but
riding,
just
man.
hey,
We kind of done
yeah, but
said what
y'all,
needs to be said.
y'all
All your food delivery needs. Make sure you go to Light Snack. That's LYTE snack.com. And make sure for all of your deliveries, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you visit Light Snack and they'll deliver it right to your door. And make sure when you get those deliveries, make sure you're ordering those Magic City wings. And remember, their motto, don't forget to lick the sauce.
just keep tuning in. We appreciate it. We thank you for your support. Y'all drop a line in those comments. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want more of, what you want less of, and what you think. Hey, we're here for you. But it's
Rocking and
gonna
rolling.
always be no jazz though.
It's gonna always be no jazz. And make sure on your post, everybody that's on Facebook, we love you participating. Everybody that's on X participating. When you make a post sports related, hashtag no jazz, hashtag NFL, hashtag Super Bowl. But make sure y'all throw that hashtag in there for us. We are on a mission. We want 20K by March. We want 20,000 subscribers by March because we don't know when Trump gonna come in and take YouTube. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah,
I should
you
have said
never
Trump
know.
twice. But at any rate,
Ain't nobody studying them.
it's been a great show. We love you.
Peace. Peace.
You just watched another episode of No Jazz. Follow us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. And make sure you hit us up on Twitter at No Jazz Show. Make sure you hit us up on Instagram at noj.a.s.s. Follow us on Facebook, on our Facebook page at No Jazz Show. All right? See you soon.